I am wanting to make a beer mug out of wood. A wooden beer. Somebody gave me the idea to make a wood beer stein, but I actually looked up stein. Stein, I believe, translates into stone. And this is not a stoneware mug. But I've taken several of these sticks and I've cut them out with, I think it's a 20-degree angle. I got the idea from another website. Well, I got the idea from a friend, and I looked up a pattern, if you will, from another website, and I can share that in my description. I will put that in the description. And I took their idea. You cut out 15 sticks, and I'm putting these on with the smaller side down. Cut out 15 sticks, and basically, if you want to make something into a circle, you take however many pieces you're going to use, you divide 360, because that's how many degrees are in a circle, divided by however many pieces, and that gives you how many times you need to split the angle. And then you divide that answer into two, because each piece has two angles. And this works out to an even 20 degrees if you use 15 pieces. So I think that's why they went with that. It's also why I decided to do the same. And what I'm going to try and do here is I've got some of the Titebond 3, which is a waterproof wood glue. And I'm going to I've got all of these facing the small side down. I'm going to line them up. I'm going to use some electrical tape to tape them together, carefully flip it over, put some glue in between, and try to wrap it up with the tape and throw some rubber bands on it. So I have this, it's not a yardstick, it's not a ruler, some happy medium, and I'm going to use it to kind of even all these up, push them together. You got to be completely perfect, but I want a good starting point. I'm going to put 2 strips of this electrical tape. Duct tape may work. I don't currently have any. I tried masking tape, and it may just be the masking tape I have is not very good, but it didn't stick well. This stuck well enough to get it up and fold it around, but it wasn't very hard to get off, and I kind of worry about duct tape. It might leave a lot of sticky stuff behind and leave me with a ton of sanding to do. Need to flip this over. I'm going to slide it to the edge of the table here, onto this. Go. Now, some wood glue. It's the first time trying it. Let's see how this goes. Press them out. Let's see how badly this turns out. Carefully roll up the 2 sides, and of course that wants to not cooperate. Let's see. table. That was fun. So you just watched me do that for the first time. I don't think it turned out too bad. Alright, I'm going to leave that to dry. After the mug had dried, I took another board and I drew a handle on it and used the scroll saw to cut that handle out. As you can see in the picture here, I'm holding on to it. And then I glued that to the side of the mug, and I put some rubber bands around it to kind of hold it in place. For the bottom of the mug, I placed the mug on another board, traced around the bottom edge of it, and then used a scroll saw to cut that out, the bottom piece, glued it to the bottom of the mug, and then used a mouse sander to smooth out the flat edges so that it matched up fairly nicely to the way the sides of the mug have flat spots. And now it's time to waterproof this mug so that it can actually be used and hold liquids. I picked up some 2-part epoxy today to finish my beer mug project. The idea is to use this to coat it to make it waterproof and usable. So I've mixed me some 2-part epoxy. Oh boy, and I've got this rather cumbersome piece of poster board that's curling up on me to protect my table. But I'm basically gonna paint this on the inside of this mug, not the bottom, not yet, and then I'm gonna hang it upside down to let it dry and see how that works out. So here we go. There you go, it's coated, so now to go hang it up. Basically got a bunch of clamps set up here, and I'm going to put this on a clamp and hang it on this agglomeration I've got. Oh dear. Basically, turn where the light's not blinding it. I've got a bar clamp hooked to one of the floorboard supports there, and a couple of hangers that this bar that's clamped onto it hook onto, and I'm just going to let it drip, let the excess drip out. And you may have heard it. I've got a white poster board on the floor here to catch the drips, and we'll just see how that turns out. Hopefully that'll turn out nicely. After the mug had had a day to dry, there were droplets or drip marks around the edge that I took the time, took a pocket knife and kind of shaved them off, and then later sanded them down a bit and ended up putting on more of the 2-part epoxy to waterproof it, because the first coat was a start, but it didn't quite seal it. I put 3 coats of the polyurethane on the inside, mostly just the walls, and as you saw, I hung it upside down over here, and that's had over a day to dry. What I've done is go back and mix up a little bit more of the epoxy, and I've poured it into the bottom and kind of moved it around to spread it, and I'm letting that level, and then what was left I painted around the top edge, and I'm going to let that dry, and that should do a good job of waterproofing this mug. And look, you can see me holding the camera. It smoothed out beautifully. The bubbles all popped themselves, and it made a nice mirror finish. Yes, I did fill this with water and let it sit for several hours. No leaks that I could see. If there were any leaks, they were extremely slow. So now I've got a couple of spots where it ran down, and I'm going to try to sand that off at some point. But I'm also going to put another coat on the bottom here. I'm going to make some more 2-part epoxy, and I'm going to cover this. And then once that's done, I'm going to use some exterior wood finish to do the rest of it. I'm feeling a little experimental. Move this over here. So what I'm going to do, what I'm going to try, is put some tape around the edge with just a little bit of a lip of up to see if I can contain the epoxy and let it dry flatly on the bottom. I really don't know that this is going to work. I got it off to a good start, I can tell you that. Yeah. And just let gravity do some work. So my experiment didn't quite work. It sort of did what I wanted to do. It did keep most of the epoxy from leaking down the sides. Such a small amount did that it's no worry. But the tape kind of folded in its spots and created this weird little lip. Not to mention the edge where it touched the tape is raised. So what I'm going to do is I went out and bought some good masking tape, not the crap that I have, and I'm going to sand this down, sand this lip down, and put this masking tape on there and try to do another small coat, and hopefully that'll work. Probably. This tape is not stretchy like the electrical tape, so hopefully it will do a better job. I mean, you can kind of see already that it's standing up pretty straight. I've got my epoxy mixed, and I'm going to try and drizzle it around the edge, and it should do a pretty good job of spreading itself out. Did last time anyway. There we go. That should do it. Now this has had a pretty good day to dry. It's time to peel the tape off and see how badly it turned out this time. There we go. So it doesn't have the sunk in sides. This side over here is not really raised at all. This side is a little bit, but that's something I could probably just take care of with a knife and not mess it up much. I've got my Helmsman polyurethane here. I'm gonna crack this open. And as with anything, we want to stir it before we use it. And I have a scrap piece of wood that I've been reusing. And stir it for a minute or two. This is the first time you use it, you probably want to stir it a little longer. Right. Time for the mug. Got a foam brush here that I'm going to use to apply. And just kind of go back and forth with the grain of the wood. This is the second coat, so it's going on a lot easier than the first. The first took quite a bit more to soak in. There we have it. Let that sit and dry. Tap my lid back on over here. Cover it with a towel so it doesn't splatter everywhere. I have a wood block that I've used, but poor things. Oh, there it went. It's cracking now, it's broken. So let this sit for 4 hours, a little longer if it's chilly, and then you can come back and lightly sand and do another coat. And here we have the mug, finally done. This one has taken a lot of time because of all the coats of finish and epoxy. So I can't wait to give this to my friend for Christmas. I hope you enjoyed watching me make this. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up, and thank you for watching.